This is one of those days that deserves a very special edition of the Sports Rush, especially if you're a Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodon fan. That's who we're really talking to today because Purdue Fort Wayne, both men and women, had some major announcements that were posted today, and we're going to talk about it. And so, if you're a Purdue Fort Wayne fan, you're going to enjoy getting this full breakdown of the new faces in the men's program, but also a major announcement from women's basketball that we will talk about. It is a huge opponent that is coming to Fort Wayne to play in the Gates Center. In fact, I'll give you this much. They're from the Big Ten. All right, let's talk about men's basketball. We've known about this class for a while, and when I say class, it's really odd because most of the people we're going to talk about that are new faces in the men's basketball program at Purdue Fort Wayne are actually transfers who are sophomores, juniors, seniors. And so it's not really a class that comes in out of high school. It's a group of players that are all part of the incoming 2025 class. If you can follow it, more power to you. But we're going to give you some of the new names and faces that are coming into this program. And there's some big changes with Purdue Fort Wayne. They're going to have a totally different look this year. Of course, we already knew about the departures of guys like Rasheed Bello out of eligibility, Quinn Morton Robertson out of eligibility. And then you've got Jalen Jackson, who got a big offer to go to Butler. He entered the portal, decided to go become a Butler Bulldog. And Eric Mulder, who got to return home to Iowa to finish up his college career, and he will play at Iowa State in Ames, Iowa. So there's a different look with this year's team. A couple of other guys also transfer out. But bottom line is there's still plenty of talent, and I think they did one heck of a job of bringing in some pretty good players that are going to make this team very competitive. And what I really like as a former big, even though I'm not that big, that's where I got stuck having to play most of my high school career anyway, was down around the basket, back to the basket, low block. And I had to go against guys that were much taller than me. And I always felt like the Mastodons' big deficiency is they couldn't send two guys to the glass. They couldn't afford having a couple of guys going to the rebound because there's a good chance they wouldn't get it and then they'd be out of position for transition. And a lot of that is because they had four guards essentially with one big. And now we're going to see a lineup. This is the crazy part of what's coming into Purdue Fort Wayne. Totally different look. Could have a lineup that has 6'3", 6'8", 6'8", 6'9", and 6'9", all on the floor. Let me repeat that. 6'3", 6'8", 6'8", 6'9", 6'9". And none of them would be out of position. That's because they've got a couple of 6'8", 6'9" guys who could play the 2 or the 3. They've got 6'9" that could play the post, that could actually step out and hit three-pointers. They've got Max Nelson, 6'8". He is back. This could be a team that throws a lot of height at you. Or they could go small and play 3 smaller guards because that's the versatility they got in this roster because of some of the names they're bringing in. Let's talk about them. First of all, Ja'Cory Lipkins. He's a 6'1" guard, hails from Canton, Ohio, comes in from a Division II program, but the Mastodons have done really well with Division II players over the last couple of years. Anthony Roberts, he was a star with Purdue Fort Wayne, and he was a Division II player. Another guy who might have even been a bigger star than Anthony Roberts was Rasheed Bello. He's heading off to play pro ball this fall. Rasheed Bello, who played a couple of seasons with Purdue Fort Wayne, came out of Wisconsin Parkside, and he was an all-conference player. So here we go again. Ja'Cory Lipkins is a 6'1" guard. Might have some similarities to Rasheed Bello. I'm not mistaken. I think he's a left-hander, but he was the freshman of the year in his conference in West Virginia and played 28 games, had 16 starts, averaged 15 points per game, and a little over 3 rebounds. He was a 41% shooter from three. The guy can shoot it. And he's more likely a two guard than a one guard. Even though he's got point guard height at 6'1", he will be better suited off the ball. But another D2 guy, Ja'Cory Lipkins, who comes in with some pretty gaudy numbers from a freshman campaign at the Division II level. Then you've got Darius Duffy. Now, some of the Mastodons fans might remember Darius Duffy because he has spent the last couple of years at Milwaukee. And so he is a guy that Mastodons fans are familiar with. He is 6'8", out of Murray, Kentucky. He's been a number of places. I think he's been to 4 different colleges, but he comes in to fill the void that was left by Eric Mulder, a true big. Duffy played 32 games, all 32 games last year for Milwaukee. Stayed healthy, had 16 starts. So he started half the games for the Panthers. 25 blocks, led his team 82% from the floor. 82% from the floor in field goal percentage. Had a double-double against Portland State. Just a solid, bigger, stronger guy to have around the basket. Then you've got DeAndre Craig. I know the coach is super excited about DeAndre Craig. He was a big target with a lot of pressure because there were a lot of schools that wanted DeAndre Craig out of Chicago, where the Mastodons have had success with guys out of the Windy City. He went to Denver. And, of course, the Mastodons, former members of the Summit League. Originally, he attended Mount Carmel High School. He spent a pair of seasons with Denver, 63 games, 33 starts, averaged 13.5 points a game last season, shot 39% from three, and averaged about 3 assists a contest. Had 27 points in a game against Cal Poly, but he's quick. He's a real nice addition to the backcourt. He can play the point. He can play the two. But he's going to be somebody that I know is counted on to fill that void when you talk about the 2 main guards that are gone in Rasheed Bello and Quentin Morton-Robertson. And that's calling Jalen Jackson more of a wing or a forward. Yuval Levin. Now, this guy's got quite the story, and I know it's been told multiple times, so I won't bore you with all the details, but he hails from Israel. He has played in the top Israeli Pro League for the last couple of years. He's going to be considered a freshman, even though I think he's 21 years old. But he had quite the experience trying to get out of Israel because as he was ready to depart to come to America to join the Mastodons, the fighting broke out. There was bombing going on in his neighborhood. And they've got pictures of smoke and fire and buildings destroyed just a couple of blocks away from his home residence. He had to figure out a way out of Israel, and he found via Facebook a ship captain that was able to take them by sea to Cyprus, from Cyprus to Poland, Poland to Chicago, and he was picked up by a Mastodon's assistant coach in Chicago at O'Hare. And he, his mother, and his sister all made it safely into Fort Wayne. Eventually, a ceasefire allowed his mother and sister to head back to Israel, but it was quite the adventure getting here for Levin, who was a guy that was being recruited by Power 5 schools. He came down to the finalist of Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Stanford. He's 6'8". He can play guard. He can play wing. And he might even spell some minutes as a stretch 5. He very versatile player, just a guy that can ball. I mean, he can handle the pumpkin. He can shoot it from 3. And playing in a professional league, he was averaging about 6 points a game, 2.5 rebounds, shot over 50% from the floor, and played actually on the U20 FIBA team, the national team, along with Danny Wolf, the former Michigan Wolverine, who's now been drafted by the Brooklyn Nets. He actually was a teammate of Levin. And so they're somewhat similar in their styles of play. If you saw Danny Wolf play last year, he's probably a pretty good comp to the type of player that Levin can be for Purdue Fort Wayne. Very excited about getting a big guard, a truly big guard. And when I say guard, the Mastodons play a 3 or 4 guard offense. So, it could be a wing, it could be a forward. Doesn't necessarily mean, oh, he's running the point or he's, 35 feet from the basket exclusively. I'm just saying that he can play the perimeter. Mikhail Stevenson returns home, former South Side guy, 6'2 guard. Spent his last couple of years at Grambling, and he has opted to return. And then another interesting guy that they picked up, Ibrahim Kaba, 6'9 wing out of New Jersey. And they got him out of St. Bonaventure. And I know the Bonnie's pretty upset that he left. He had a freshman year where he redshirted. He got bigger, he got stronger. He's an lean athletic frame at 6'9". But he is going to be an exciting player to watch. Might play some 5. Probably is going to play a little more of the 4, maybe even the 3. I mean, he's another one of those very versatile guys because of his skill set. He can shoot the 3, but he can also be an extra guy on the glass. He can defend a 5. I mean, gives you a lot of versatility. And then also for the Mastodons, a couple of preferred walk-ons. You've got Danny Kelly and Solomon Richard, 2 local products. It's nice to see some local ties at Purdue Fort Wayne. Danny Kelly, who played under Seth Coffing at Bishop Lewis High School, is a 6'6 guard, probably more a guard forward, probably more like a Jalen Jackson type at 6'6. And Solomon Richard, who kind of a versatile 6'2 guy, primarily will play the perimeter out of Leo. They joined the program as preferred walk-ons. So kind of exciting. This is a good group that Coach Kaufman has brought in. Had some very big losses. There's no question that the Mastodons have a lot of talent to replace, but they do have some flexibility, versatility, and there's no question they've gotten much bigger. The last couple of seasons, the Mastodons were in the bottom 5 of the entire NCAA Division I rankings in total height or average height. And this year, they're not going to be anywhere near the bottom. With a starting lineup, potentially you could start, and they won't, but you could start a lineup 6'9", 6'9", 6'8", 6'8", and 6'3". That's what they could start. But it's going to be kind of exciting, kind of fun to watch this team grow and develop. All right, big news from women's basketball today. They haven't announced their schedule, but they announced one of their games, and this is a biggie. You might want to be sitting down for this. The Purdue Boilermakers women's basketball team is coming to the Gates Center on campus at Purdue Fort Wayne to play a non-conference game on Wednesday, November 12th at 7 p.m. That's right. The Purdue Boilermakers women's basketball team will be coming to Fort Wayne. And I'll tell you what's kind of ironic here. This game may have been kind of the Jordan Poole game because Jordan Poole from Snyder went to Purdue, but she has since entered the portal and transferred out. But a lot of times these type of games are scheduled because you've got some hometown players that you want to give them a chance to go play in front of their family and friends. And Purdue's still going to come. So it's going to be November 12th, a Wednesday night at the Gates Center. The Mastodons women's basketball team under Maria Marcassano takes on Katie Gerald's team from Purdue. And of course, we all know that Coach Gerald's is on a little bit of the hot seat. She's got a year to really prove it at Purdue. So it should get very interesting with Maria Marchesano coaching against Katie Gerald. So let's see what happens. November 12th, Purdue at Purdue Fort Wayne. That's right, at Purdue Fort Wayne at the Gate Center. Cozy environment. It will be rocking. And of course, you can get tickets. It says, let's see, the season tickets can be purchased through the ticket office. So I don't know if they're having individual tickets yet, but I know if you do get a season ticket, you will be included in this game. So might be something you don't want to miss. All right. Appreciate you. This was kind of an emergency video today. We didn't plan on it, but Purdue Fort Wayne decided to put out a couple of big stories, and so we thought we would get right on it. Once again, thanks for watching. Make sure you do subscribe, because if you follow the Mastodons at all, you're going to want to be subscribing to this channel, because I will give you all the insights on Mastodons athletics right here on the Sports Rush YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. Also share the channel. Make sure you like us, give us that thumbs up, and you want to click the bell too. So when we have our live shows, like we had with Coach Kaufman just a month ago, you'll want to be a part of it and you'll want to know about it. So you click that little bell and that gives you the alert when we've got a live show. All right. Hey, I'm out of here. Have a terrific Thursday night. If we don't talk to you again, have a great weekend. Keep a lock on my X account at Brett Rump Sports so you know when we go on for our next live show. Talk to you next time.